Hi Aquarius. There have been several attempts at this video. Contrary to popular belief, no, I have nothing against you. I should have done all the air signs in anticipation of Mercury retrograde first, because I did your reading and I completely messed it up. Oh, it was terrible. And then I was trying to find a way to salvage it, but what's happened is that because I have so much placement in Mercury, it just starts to go wrong. And so you guys should have been probably at the end of last month. My apologies. However, we are here now, and I'm going to actually save this somewhere in the cloud so it's not even on my computer because it just hasn't been working. So instead of saying anything now, I'm just going to shuffle these cards and I'm going to see what comes up because what I feel also from you guys is restriction. There's stuff that you want to feel. You hear the construction? Nothing is gone right for this reading. As soon as I started to really feel the Mercury shat, nothing has. You will hear that construction throughout because they're literally taking down the side of the house. Literally taking down the side of the house. I'm so confused. So, happy almost Mercury retrograde. And of course, happy Venus retrograde. I'm sure it's been pleasant. It has not been for me. But this retrograde is asking a lot of you, and I think the things that it's asking of you are also part of the reason why this reading is late, because what it's asking of you is so big that instinctively you can sense it and you're just like, I don't know if I want to know that, right? But then because the reading's late, that, oh, I don't know if I want to know that turns into hey, what's going on? Hey, no, maybe I want to know, I know it's something not bad, but I know it's something difficult and I want to know what it is. Now I want to know what's going, why is it so delayed? So perhaps this has worked in our favor. And that's to be noted here as well. You see how I was just talking about it and I was getting so upset. That's me fighting the retrograde. This is my issue. The reason the retrogrades work so hard against me, you see, even my language there, they're not working against me. I'm refusing to turn my flow around the other way. It's me, because of all that Aries placement in very key areas, from which I live my life. I like forward motion. And so when we're not moving forward and the retrogrades are asking us to turn back around and look the other way, it's kind of oh, I don't want to. And I just keep fighting it. And then, it becomes harder and harder to communicate because I'm not supposed to be communicating outwardly. I'm supposed to be communicating inwardly, and I don't want to. Because I don't want to get that deep in my feelings because it's dangerous, I don't know about you guys. Well, I do know, Aquarians, the idea of delving, so if we see the retrogrades as energy, instead of being asked to go outward as we usually are, instead it's being asked to be directed inward, then I think that you guys are one of the signs that's afraid to look inward, and I think Libras and Geminis are the same. Swords very rarely do any good turned on yourself. Unless you have some sort of gangrene and you need to save your life, then it would be quite beneficial to have a sword to use on yourself. And perhaps that's part of what's going on. Perhaps there's a part of you that needs to be cut away now. Or a part of you that you can, okay, how about this? Maybe there's a part of you that does need to be cut away. But the only way to find it, something that's blocking you, because the retrogrades are all about trying to figure out where those emotional blocks are, right? That are keeping you from the love life that you want or the money life that you want. So the point of diving really deep emotionally, right? Really like turning this ethic on yourself. You would have to do that to find the part of you that was gangrened in this, right? Right? Okay. Only then could you use the sword on yourself. So it requires, so this scythe-like intelligence that you have, very good, very good. How can we use it to our benefit? We have to look inward, but okay, so now we know that the goal is to find the thing that we need to cut away, the thing, push through the thing that's keeping us from whatever that belief is, whatever that old relationship was, whatever we didn't learn from it, whatever questions we're still holding on to, like, why did he do that? Why did he not do that? Why did she do that? All of that, you know, the only way to get those answers to those questions that are still living and yearning in you is to face them, is to take them like one by one and look at them and break them apart and make something new out of them. And you can't do that and turn them into commodities until you face them. And I think part of the reason that Aquarians don't like to face that inner world and air signs in general is because it's just dangerous, right? Like, how far does that rabbit hole go? What if you like turn into a water sign and get just all lost in your feelings? No thanks. You know, the equivalent, like they can feel like they're drowning, but they're still like fish and creatures that can, you know, survive. If we turn what we have on ourselves, which is a sword, we'll end up with ribbons, you know? Does that mean we don't need to cut away certain things? Does that mean we don't have certain places? Let's use it, you know, let's look at it a different way. Does that mean there aren't places where there needs to be light shed? Well, of course, that's why the retrogrades are happening. You know, and I think Aquarians like me are trying to walk against the flow, and I think that's what's hurting. The flow wants you to look inside. Oh, I don't want to do it either. Listen, you know how these readings go. It's always reflective of what's actually going on. The last thing I want to do is, you know, for example, admit that somebody I thought loved me let me think for years that I did something wrong when it was like he knew the whole time that it was him. And he could have just told me, but he just didn't. Like, think about like how one processes that. Like, it's just too much, right? Like, no air sign wants to actually go into the heavy of all the years and all the pain and all the contemplation and all the effort that one would go through trying to figure out and trying to better oneself and trying to live up to perhaps this indefinable nothing. Like, if I am able to do this or be like this, then this person would think I was good enough. Right? It's the kind of realization that makes you look at that belief and go, oh, no, bitch. You know, like, no, it was never you. Oh, you believed that because you believe like bad things about yourself. You know what I mean? It was never you. Ooh, it's the kind of realization that you can't reach unless you go to that place. But that place in you needs to hear that, no, bitch, you know, no, you know, that part of you. Oh, when you go looking for that part of you to heal what's in here, it can be really scary, you know, because you run into a lot of other stuff down there. It's not just going to show you what's been holding you back in your love, in your luck, in your money luck. You know, this is money too, right? Like, what have you been working for? Why isn't it getting what you're working? Why the ceiling? Why can't you go past a certain, you know, in your relationships? Why can't you connect past a certain, what is it? What's holding you, right? It's fear, man. Just like I was afraid to do this reading. Just like you guys are afraid to hear it. Just like we'd both rather stay in our feelings and be worse off anticipating the feelings than just experiencing them. You know? You don't think I could have had these answers 2 years ago if I had actually wanted them? Of course I could have. But I avoided it. I didn't want to know it. I didn't want to hear it. And this Venus retrograde is like I said, no, bitch, you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it. You're going to know. And you guys are like doing what I was doing, like, and I'm sorry that I'm like pulling so few cards. I only have one card out. It's just that I've done this reading so many times now, and like the same emotions come up, the same feelings. This card has come up, like, so I'm sorry there's not more cards out, but just trust me on this. So that's Venus retrograde. Now let's look at Mars retrograde. Same difference, really, just much more where Venus is localized. Mercury. Did I say Mars retrograde? I'm sorry if I said that. Relax. My communication is going to be completely off until this whole mess is over. I can't. I wish I could. There's so many things that I've been able to, you know, through the powers of meditation and prayer, there's all these things that I've been able to affect change on in my life, but Mercury retrograde is not one of them. So, where Venus retrograde is localized to certain aspects of luck and love, Mercury retrograde is for everything. Now, what does that mean? That means that there's communication going on in your life that you're going to have to take a look at. How do you talk to people? Are you connecting with people? Or are you something very interesting to be around? I know. That makes you a little bit mad. But I'm serious. Like, are you allowing yourself to fully connect with people? Or I was going to say, are you pretending? But you're not pretending. You're just not trying. You're too scared. Are you paralyzed? Emotional fear. Yeah, that's it. Paralysis, April 2017. Aquarius paralysis. Yeah, that's it. Well, guys, here's the thing. If you don't find the cobwebs, you can't clean them out. If you don't find the gangrene, you can't cut it off. We don't want to lose the whole ship here. How many different metaphors can I make? I'm just going to go ahead and try all of them. If we don't, fix it up, the boat's it's doing too many holes. We're going to sink. Now, on this journey, sorry, this time I'm not upset because it's my friend. On this journey, you will meet some new people. You may want to think about the people you're already around, though, because if you're not around people who are kind of pushing and pulling you to expand emotionally and connect deeply with them, they might not be very good for you. If they're not actively trying to foster connections with you, they might not care about you very much. Sorry. I'm telling you, it just all comes out however. I take no responsibility at this point. It's the planets, yo. I can't control the planets. So, Knight of Cups. Someone who really cares. If the people in your life aren't exhibiting a high level of attention and care for your feelings, no matter how hard it is for you to express them, then, because it's very easy to just say this is a water sign, but it's not. It's just somebody who perhaps even cares about you maybe a little bit more than you can be emotional about yourself, which is really nice. And either you can develop a relationship with this person without fear, or you can develop friendships like that without fear, but you need to let go of what you have going on first. It's super, super important that there be that room. You know, I was just doing talking about some energy transfer work and last night, and my friends and I were talking about just how you have to take energy before you can give someone new energy, you know? And if the people in your life don't reflect this, they may mirror you, they may be more like you, but Aquarius, that's not good for you. Sorry, it's not. So, this delving into emotions this month, it's in every respect, you know? It's with your friends, it's with your family, it's with your money, it's with what is that thing in you that you wanted to do, that you wanted to be. That thing that when you look into the future, when you were a kid or when you were a teenager, or when you know, got your first job or got your first paycheck, what's that thing? What's that thing that that you really, really wanted to do, that you would have to connect with yourself on a deeper emotional level to take the risk to do? And I think that's why even the cards are sticky. And they don't want to, you know, because this is the Aquarian nightmare. I really do think so. Think about it. Like a mix of having to look back at the past in terms of love and money, but also having to look back at the past in terms of all communication. As an air sign, that's a lot. In one respect, we're being asked to examine feelings, which is not our natural territory. I'm not saying we don't have them. I'm just saying we process them differently, right? It's not necessarily quite as painful if you already live in the realm of feelings. But if someone's picking you up out of the air and like holding you underwater for a few weeks, you know, it's a little uncomfortable. Slightly. You know, I don't particularly like being around water signs during Venus retrogrades because they want to get even heavier than I already feel. And I'm like, yo, chill. Like, we need to talk about something light. We need to talk about something rational. We can't, you know, but everything turns into a conversation about this thing that you've been tackling, whatever it is. And like the cards are like reflective of your energy and my energy. And I think my energy is reflective of what you guys are feeling, but also the miscommunication is reflective of what you guys are internally feeling. You know, it's like you miscommunicate within yourself. There's like a part of you that wants to like dive deep with people. You know, this is like what you want to do, and it's also what you want from people, right? you want to reciprocate it. It's not that you don't want to, but there's this like misfiring or miscommunication within the self of like, do I like keep like working on what I want to, what like systemically works for me? Or do I like go into this realm of feelings, which honestly can be like quite mucky, you know? So I'll give you, let's pull an outcome card because I don't think any other cards are going to come out. And I am really sorry. I really didn't do this on purpose. So I'll tell you a story that'll kind of make sense to you, okay? and perhaps give you a little bit of clarity about this month. And let's see what your outcome card is. Okay, so there is this myth of Sir Gawain. I think it's Sir Gawain. And he's like got to answer these questions, right? He's got to answer these questions, or like everyone in his like kingdom will die. This guy has come and said, I have the Green Knight. The Green Knight has come and said, I have this question and it needs to be answered. And, you know, if you have the answer, then like you can live, but if you don't, like you'll die or whatever. So this woman comes and she's like disgusting and gross, and she smells terrible. And it's just like, it smells like rotten corpses and the bottom of the ocean and sulfur and death and she's so like, oh, she looks like a monster, you know, and he's so handsome. And she says, I'll give you the answer, but you have to marry me. So I'll skip to the end, although you should, you know, look at it. It's really interesting. He does. And then she tells him that if he wants, she can be in public, beautiful, like a gorgeous young woman. And in private, she'll be that disgusting, gross monster that he married. Or she can be that gross monster in public, and she'll be that beautiful woman for him when they're alone. And he says to her, no. I want you to be what you want to be. Whatever you want to be. And she turns into the beautiful woman all the time. And the spell is broken. And it is because he looked past his own selfishness. And instead of just taking the deal, good deal, one or the other, I'll take it, he thought of her instead. So why do I tell you that? Because the mythology, the symbolism of the woman, and why she's such a disgusting, okay. The mythology of the woman, oh, what a surprise, is that of Mother Nature. The gross, smelly, bottom of the ocean, destructive, bad smelling, you know, the muck of nature, the muck of emotion and feeling, and that overwhelmingly muddy place inside of us where we can't put things in boxes and on checklists and file them away. And then that other side of her was the side that, you know, we like. And what he did when he gave her that freedom, and the reason it broke the spell, you know, I don't like using words like that and stuff. I'm like anti all that. The reason, like if we were to like intellectually like break it down, right? The reason it broke the spell is because when one gives freedom to both aspects of oneself and accepts both aspects so completely that there is no fear, right? There is no fear in the internal of the external world out to get you, and there is no fear in the external, which is where we like to live, of looking in and finding deep, dark monsters. I think the reason these cards come up is because these realizations that you're going to have this month, the reason you're dreading them is because it's going to make you leave a lot of stuff. I don't think you want to do this anymore like this. You've been feeling this way for months, but now it's like do or die time, and now you guys are getting really scared because usually you're not. But where are you going to go? Where are you going to run to? You know what I mean? Like, go listen to that Nina Simone song, Sinner Man. Where are you going to go? You can't, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to run. You have to accept her and tell her that she can be the gross monster or she can be the beautiful, princess, queen, and both are okay, and that you're willing to get to know both and accept both as yourself. Quite similar to the Libra reading in a lot of ways, and perhaps even the Gemini. And is it easy to accept, for example, the muck and gross of what comes with a relationship, especially if you've been in an ugly one before? No, hell no. No. Is it easy to accept the muck of office politics if you've been in a terrible, abusive job situation before? No, hell no. And nonetheless, we are asked to integrate these two things and accept both and learn to live through the filter of either one as we see fit. You see, you can't learn how to modulate that internal healing and looking in if you run from it. If you learn to work with it, you will learn to, its ability to overwhelm you will diminish, okay? But if you run from it and you resist it, as we have been doing, you don't learn how to work with it. You don't learn how to tame it. And for such a beautiful analytical mind, that's a great challenge and a great opportunity to learn how to wield something that perhaps until now has seemed too unruly and too much of an unknown space to explore. But all the secrets of your relationships and all the secrets of your money, luck, and all the secrets of love, they all lie in that muck, gross, bad-smelling place. I know. Can you imagine any Libras that are watching this? I should have told you like 10 minutes ago to close your ears. I'm sorry. You shouldn't be watching this. This is too hard for you. This is harsh. I don't think Libra should watch Aquarius reading. But it's true, So I am really sorry. If you'd like more clarity on what kept me from making the videos and what my own personal thing was that I went through that I could even make this video now, you can watch the Pisces video, which you probably did because you're waiting for yours, because it's in there. But thank you for your emails and your comments and your Instagram posts, and I feel so great and so supported and so loved, and I'm actually feeling really, really good. Like I told you, I think before, I'm a little bit ahead of things usually, which is cool because then I get to experience it and process it and then talk to you guys about it, with some understanding. So where you guys will end up towards the end of the month is where I'm starting to get to today, which is a place of, really feeling optimistic about life moving forward past seeing the gross, ugly muck truth and how beautiful things look once you just face those things that perhaps for years you just felt would break you if you did. They won't break you. This is harder. Not knowing and not facing it and not looking in. This is harder. The unknown, it's harder. So, It'll hurt. I'm not saying it won't. It is hurting already. I'm sorry. But it's really gonna be okay. It's just a little bit down the road. Not yet. No, wouldn't be easy, would it? No, of course not. Why would that? That wouldn't be any fun. I'm so sorry it was so late. I love you guys. I'll see you in May. And I'm actually going to do your video next time first. You can hold me to it.